What's going on? It's your friend Richard Embree, and today we're going to talk about 3 key ways to write interesting characters. So, first off, you want to discuss motives. What is the most important thing in this world to this character? What drives this character? What motivates this character? Establish this information beforehand so you have a clear view of the perspective that you will be putting this character into this world that you created. Motives is very important. Next thing up is believable dialogue. Now that you have the motives, you have the perspective of the character, now it's time to write believable dialogue. Make sure the dialogue that you are scripting matches the perspective and the thoughts of the character. Also, you want to make sure that your character has a unique voice. Can you tell one character from another? Do all these characters sound the same? If they do, you might have a problem. You might have to start rethinking dialogue. You might have to start thinking about perspective and giving these characters the motives. So you want to start with motives, and then that creates perspective. Then you have a perspective for dialogue. Also, with believable dialogue, there's another rule is, does this character's dialogue add to the story? Is it worth it? Like, especially in comics, if an artist has to draw this character, and this panel needs to be drawn, how much value is it bringing to the story? Is it bringing a lot of value to the story? And if it's not, then maybe you can make some editing. Maybe you can check on some pacing. Maybe you can do a lot more things so it's just not useless dialogue. Try to trim it down. Also, try to read it out loud. I try to read the dialogue out loud as if I'm acting it out. Sounds weird, right? I do that to see how it would flow in a natural conversation. And also it helps to definitely have an editor. I mean, always have an editor, because they're going to present questions to you that, you might have it in your head about the story, but it didn't translate to paper, and you need to make sure that the editor has your back and understands the concept of what you're trying to do, and make sure that it gets on paper. Number 3, you want to know the character's purpose, right? So now we have their perspective. Now we have an idea of dialogue parameters, like what this character would say, what they wouldn't say, how they would react, if they would react. And now we have to make sure that we know what is the purpose of this character. How does he advance the story? What actions does he take to advance the story? What actions does she take to advance the story? What actions or what is said that is done within the story that helps advance the story? How is this character advancing the story, and why should I pay attention to him? Is it a prop? And sometimes you might have to use props. But even when using a prop, you can give them certain characteristics and make them interesting. You can make them interesting by giving them little quirks or a witty piece of dialogue that they were a prop, and their purpose was to move the story along, but they did it with wit. They did it with fun. Maybe it's a quip. Whatever it needs to be to polish out the story better, you can get it done. So those are my 3 key ways to writing interesting characters. That's where I start. That's what I do. It really has worked for me. It's fun creating that world building and creating that character, and it makes writing easier as I'm writing the story and advancing the story. So if you have a key tip or something that you can help us out with, go ahead, leave it in the comment. If I do receive some comments that are really good advice, I will definitely do this video again and make sure I give you credit. And I appreciate you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.